Well, hey folks, how's it all going? Welcome back. And oh man, look at that. The Z-Girls Pellet Grill. And you're saying, Tom, there's a front shelf on that. Where'd you get that front shelf? Well, folks, I made that front shelf. I'll tell you what, those of you who know my channel know that I love to modify my grills to make them better. And this definitely makes it better. It's a super simple mod to do, less than 20 bucks to build this. It folds down and it folds up, and we're going to show you how to do it. So so keep on watching. I'm also going to show you another alternative if you're saying, hey, that's great, you got the tools and everything to do it, but I don't have the tools and I want a front shelf. I'll tell you what, show you an alternative for that too. Keep on watching, folks. All right, another option, because a lot of you say, Tom, I just don't have the time and I don't have the tools to build what you build. But here's one. It's my good friends at Smoke Daddy Inc. www.smokedaddyinc.com, folks. They make a lot of accessories for pellet grills, and they make a shelf that comes on and comes off. I mean, it literally just to fold it down like that, and then to take it off. I'm gonna do this one-handed. Comes off like that, and then to put it on, I don't know if I can do this one-handed, but yeah, just like that, and then to put it up. See if I can do that one-handed. I might need a knee. Just like that. So even one-handed goes on and off. And the stainless steel does a great job. Smoke Daddy Inc. All right, you saw what I built. You saw some of the other options out there. Let's get to building. Here's our brackets right here. These are it's 12 bucks, 13, I should say $12.99 on Amazon if you're wondering. I'll leave the link down below. But this is what it was right here. Sumacon's sturdy folding self brackets, heavy duty material, triangle, blah, 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 blah. Max load 132 each. So that's obviously more than enough. You're gonna say what determines what size of shelf you usually use, because a lot of people say, Tom, that looks pretty big. And it's out of the way. And you can see, I'm just using, in a lot of hardware stores like Home Depot and Lowe's, we refer to these kind of as handy panels. And they are glued, they're individual pieces of wood. You can see they're glued together. This is just Douglas fir, there ain't nothing fancy here. But you could also use, go online and buy yourself like a cutting board. And there's an example of a cutting board. And you see I got one of my trays down here saying, what do you got that for? And that's what I kind of use to decide what size to make it. Obviously, you really don't want to make it much smaller. So, and that's why we're using this. And this is the cheapest way to go. Obviously, buying a cutting board, it's already done for you. A lot of times they're finished. They get some really nice ones, but a little bit pricey. This piece of wood right here was, this chunk of wood is probably about $4 right here. I think I had something a lot longer. I think it was 6 foot. I think it was like $12. So this is 1/3 of it, which is $4. And what we're gonna do is, all we're gonna do is round the corners, sand it real good, give it a nice finish. We're gonna put on some of this stuff, spar urethane. Obviously, we're gonna spray it on, so you wanna do this in a well ventilated area. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you a look-see as we're doing the cutting and the sanding. All right, I want to lay out my radiuses on the corner here, and you're saying what's with the tape. And you can use a soup can, you can use any sort of round type thing that you have laying around the house. In this case, I'm just using some tape. And I'm just going to use that to give myself my layout here for my radius. Super simple. All right, we're going to use some power tools. So if you're uncomfortable using power tools and don't forget to follow all the proper safety stuff. Just like that, we'll do the other side. Then we'll go over to belt sander and get that looking a little bit more pretty. All right, folks, did some sanding. I went with, what did I go with here? I went with 120 grit first, and then I went down to the 220 grit. Got it nice and smooth there. I am using my Bauer cordless. Random Orbit, I'll tell you what, I've got a whole bunch of Bauer stuff. Tom Horseman on YouTube, folks. Started building this shop here, that was a year ago. I had gotten some solid core doors for free, and that's what inspired the whole workbench, and I have built that and a couple other things here down in the shop. And folks, I tell you what, let's get this all dusted off, and then we're gonna give it a couple coats of that spar varnish. All right, so there's our brackets. You see how they work. Now I've cut up, I've butchered a couple pieces of 22 gauge sheet metal that I'm going to paint, and I'm going to put that as a backer behind that metal, and that'll help strengthen the whole thing so there's less flexing when you put weight on it. And you could do the same maybe using fender washers. That would probably work too, but I just want to give it a little extra support. Not saying that it's needed, but I think it is. All right, so we got our brackets. We got them just clamped on there to where we want them, so they are flush. The bottom of the bracket here. Here, look at this one. The bottom of the bracket is flush with the bottom here, and the same there. And I've got 20 inches in between them. And remember, our shelf is 24 inches wide, so that'll give us 2 inches on either side. And I've got our piece of sheet metal in the back that's going to act like a big washer, more or less. Put a piece of plywood, 23 inches by 4 inches tall, and that's what I got clamped behind it. That'll give us some backing as we're drilling. And here's our shelf, which is now dry. And this is kind of like a mock-up to make sure that you're going to be happy with it. And I'm happy with it. So let's, I tell you what, here's the exciting part, the part where I void the warranty. All right, so I used my bracket as a guide, and I used a center punch to lay out my holes. Now that my holes are laid out, I took that off, left my clamp on. Remember, there's a piece of plywood back there as a backer. Makes it drill a lot easier. Just like that, 3 more to go. All right, got the first one installed, and you can see it. First of all, we've got that sheet metal behind there that's acting as a washer, and then we've got lock washers on there. That's 3/16 that we drilled through there, and I think it's going to be very stout. The fact that we put it closer to the leg, you're getting some rigidity from the leg, and that helps. And we got that one drilled. Just gotta install it. All right, so to get this going in here, we've got a clamp with that same piece of plywood that I used in the backing, and got that in between, and then up on top just to hold it in place. And I've got it all lined up. I left a gap, air gap in there, so when we be up next to the heat. And I'm just going to use some sheet metal screws, and it's going to be dependent upon the thickness of the wood you use. So always, it's going to be different for everybody depending upon what you use. And I'm just going to shoot them in. All right, got everything installed, folks. It works really nice. You see it folds down real nice, just like that. And then to fold it up, you just lift it until it locks. So, this greatly enhances this grill. And this is what a lot of people are looking for. They're looking for a front shelf. So when you bring your stuff out, you can put it in there. And when you're done, store it away like that. So I'll tell you what, give you one last look-see. Oh man, I'll tell you what, in the land of grills, doesn't that look nice? If I say so myself. So this is a really easy, like I said, this is less than 20 bucks right here, and some time, and obviously some power tools, and some bolts and some nuts. And if I can do it, and I always say this, if I can do it, so can you. Super simple to do. Tom Horseman at YouTube, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for playing on. Thumbs up, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, folks, thanks for watching.